Hello everyone, and welcome to our last tutorial for critical thinking and worldviews for the semester. It is Wednesday the 21st of May between the hour of 4 and 5, and my name is Chris Kowalski. I'm the tutor for critical thinking and modern worldviews alongside Bastian Klein, the lecturer. Please note that this is going to be a very short tutorial unless you have a ton of questions for me, Sandra. Because it's you and I again, and just want to review a couple things on assignments and then just create a small space for you to ask personal questions in regards to any of the assignments that you have. There's not really an input section today other than a short thing about how to do tracking comments within Microsoft Word, which I want to make sure that you understand how to do for your essay revision. But again, other than that, my guess is you're at work as you were last time, so please feel free to talk in the comments or to unmute yourself and just speak to me directly. For anyone who is viewing this at a later date, feel free also to look at Bastian Klein's 3 o'clock tutorial. She interacted with a few other students, and you may be able to get some other information that I don't cover on the off chance that you need that. Sandra, are you ready to go? Let's go. So what we are going to cover today, we are going to look at a guide to writing essays and audio presentation and submission dates. We've gone over this information, but we just want to make sure in every way possible we are communicating that to everyone that is part of this CLC. We are going to very briefly look at how to do track and trace within Microsoft Word to help you revise your essays, and then just want to create a space for you to have your questions answered to the best of our ability. All right, very briefly on assignments 3 and 4. Assignment number 3 is a rewrite of assignment 2, your research essay, which was due a few weeks ago and has been returned and graded to you over the past week. Your essay, it says will be returned. It's because this was written a few weeks ago. It has been returned now with tracked commentary as to where to improve in terms of critical thinking writing skills. Some of the examples of things that Bastian and myself may have commented upon were things like argument strengthening, the referencing that you needed to have that you did not, logicality in the sense of whether your argument makes sense in an analytical, logical way, or whether you are relying on emotion, or strawman arguments, or circuitous logic, etc. And then also the idea of getting rid of fallacies within your arguments so that your arguments can be proven as you show us that you can write an academic essay. Hopefully, if you've read your comments now and gotten past the potential shock of whatever grade you received, you will have taken some of our comments to heart. Bastian and I have spoken multiple times about the struggle that some of our students are having with the writing of academic essays, and we tried our best within the amount of time that we had to be as diligent and detailed as possible in terms of giving you feedback and what you can improve. We also I should mention at this point that within the last week, Wayne Herman, our academic principal, has sent out an email that I hope most of you have received that speaks in particular directly to the CLC students, saying that there's been so much problem with different essay submissions and things like that that they've created as an entire institute a once-off extension policy to have particularly your last essay assignment regraded for you. So this information is even more important here. Now, big thing is that you need to make sure when you are looking at your essay that has been returned to you that you are using the tracked version to make your changes, and to make sure tracking is on. It's found under the review menu in Microsoft Word if you have one of the more recent versions of Microsoft Word. If you, however, are using an older version, even several years old, you may have found it under the view or edit menu as well. But most of the time it's under the review menu in Microsoft Word. Your assignment number 4 is your oral presentation that is due on the 28th of May, within a week from now, or a week from now. And I just want to remind you again that you need to record a 5-minute audio presentation. You need to figure out how you're going to do that. You also need to figure out how you are going to not only record that, but post it to YouTube. I want to take a second here to say that posting something to YouTube is not an instantaneous process. You have to take some time to upload your video, and if it is a period where YouTube is incredibly busy, that may take a bit of time. So please leave yourself enough time to have that posted and formatted correctly from YouTube's side before you'll even be able to get a link that you can message to us. Now, what do you do once you have posted something to YouTube? And by the way, I would suggest you watch it then on YouTube to make sure everything is working and we can hear the audio, etc. You need to let us have the link in a Microsoft Word document and upload this onto Funda as if it was your essay, except you're just sending us a link on a blank Microsoft Word document. The content of assignment number 4 is on the research essay that you not only have received back to you, but you are going to be rewriting in assignment number 3. So this is the 3rd time you'll be covering some of this content. You should know it well by now. And basically what you need to do is you need to defend the fact that the contemporary worldview you have chosen in that essay is in fact a worldview. Now, key note, because many people are still either, number 1, not choosing a contemporary worldview, or not following along in terms of how to assess, evaluate, and logically analyze said worldview. Please see the essay and grading guide on Funda for this, and the notes on how to do this are also on Funda under the Resources tab. You should be very familiar with this by now, but please make sure you know where that is if you do not. Let me pause for a second and just say, Sandra, are there any questions that you have about either assignment? If not, I want to show you how to use track and trace very briefly. Yes, thank you. Sandra actually writes in the comments now, for those who are listening later, that perhaps I should say audio and video presentation. That is a key point to make. I hope that is clear because we are referencing YouTube, in which the majority of stuff on there is video. But yes, we are talking about a video that contains audio. We are not just talking about an audio track that you record into a microphone. So yes, please make sure it is an audio/video presentation. Thank you for that clarification. Are there any other questions you have, Sandra? Your second question is, and I'm just, again, repeating your questions for the benefit of those that are listening or watching this later. Your second question is, can we use the corrected essay to do our presentation? And I want to point you to this sentence right here in saying, oops, excuse me. No, Chris, don't do it that way. To say that, yes, the content is directly from the research essay. I actually would highly, highly encourage you to use the corrected essay, because that's going to be a better version, we are hoping. A tighter version, a more clear version of what you've been trying to argue in regards to validity of a contemporary worldview. So I would completely use that information to do your presentation. I would obviously format it differently, because you're doing an audio and video presentation. You probably would need to think about how to introduce, cover your main points, and conclude in a slightly different way. So there's going to be some different material in there. But yes, we are not asking you to do a brand new assignment. We are asking you to do a different version of the assignment that hopefully will flesh out a few different pieces of it. So I would say it's a mixture of new material as well as corrected material, but stand firmly on the corrected essay that you are resubmitting for assignment number 3. Any other questions? Okay. Well, like always, everyone, we just want to say you are more than welcome to contact us via Funda or message us if you have a particular question that we can answer about a grade or an assignment. I do want to take this moment to mention that Bastian is going to be sending out a message to all of her classes over the next few days. She will explain a little bit more about that herself, but basically I want to point you to look for her message in the next few days and make sure that you read her information. Okay, moving on to the last little bit of, I guess, content, if you will, for today. It's really just a minor thing we want to show you, but basically we want to show you how to track and trace using a Microsoft Word document. Basically, I'm going to open one up now. I'm going to then use the review in text or highlight, and I'm actually going to show you how to add a comment in. Okay, so give me a second to switch programs, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm sorry that this is not super large. Let me turn it back to the read mode, just so you can see basically that this is a rough version of the first few paragraphs of a particular essay about Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm actually in a version of Microsoft Word called the read mode, which just allows it to be bigger on a shared screen. But I want to point you to these little comment boxes that are throughout here. And I want to show you that when I hover over that, there's a little thing that comes up that says click to see comments, and I'm going to do that, and you'll see that Bastian has made a comment upon this essay. So in my essay, she writes, for your rewrite, give an interesting title to your introduction to the essay. I agree. Another comment down here, this idea, I will unpack how this worldview can or cannot function in our world today. She's saying, make your argument stronger. I would add to that, make your argument more specific. There's a little bit here as the paragraph continues, and then there's a third box down here in relation to one of the things, one of the pieces of the citation notes, and she says that ND or no date is not acceptable to use websites that are not academic. She says use an academically referenced source for the rewrite. Okay, the last one in this little short excerpt here is connected to the word satanic, and the whole sentence reads, but someone of a Jehovah's Witness believes that everything Christian related is false and close to satanic. Click to see comments. Bastian said something that I really would have said almost the exact same thing. She says, really? Who says so? Reveal your source, which I appreciate your humor. I probably wouldn't have been as funny, but I would have said the exact same thing. Probably would have just said, source? Where is your source? So these are examples of comments that we have put into your essay to help you figure out how you need to rewrite it. And so what we would like you to do is we would like you to address in particular these comments. Now I want to say that Bastian and I comment differently on essays, and we have switched back and forth throughout the course of this class in terms of the actual people's essays we've graded to be as fair as possible. And so sometimes you've got my comments, sometimes you've got hers, sometimes you've been at the beginning of the stack of essays we've been grading, sometimes you've been at the end, and that's probably because we're human, also affected that a little bit. And so I don't know if all of our comments are incredibly specific or more general, but basically take what we said to heart. If it's a specific thing, I would address it if I were you. That is only going to give you a better chance of having your grade raised in terms of the rewrite grade, as well as a lot of times we will comment on a specific thing like this one as an example where she says, who is your source? And yet it will not be the only place where we desire to ask that question. We're just not going to ask that 15 times throughout your essay. And so if we say it in one place, my strong suggestion would be that you look everywhere that you have a comment like that and make sure that your sourcing is correct. And that probably more than anything else, I would say there are a couple of problems that we see over and over and over again in regards to your essays. Number one would just be formatting and sourcing issues, that you either have not sourced things correctly, or you are over-relying on sources and not putting any of your own logical analysis in. Or the other thing I would say, and this is happening less than it did in the beginning of the semester, which I appreciate, it shows me you're taking our instruction to heart. But earlier on in the semester, there was quite a bit of personal espousing or personal opinion giving in terms of your argument within an essay, and that's just not appropriate for a formal university level academic essay. And so again, please take our comments to heart. We're not saying you must do exactly what we say, but we're saying get at the heart of what we're saying and really, really, really try to crank up the clarity, the tightness, and the strength of your argument. Some of you really need to learn how powerful adding a second or third source could be in terms of strengthening and solidifying your point of view. Again, if you're just asserting something with no backup, we can choose to dismiss that if we'd like to. But if you backed it up in a logical, analytical way, even if we personally disagree, we need to say that we are for that and we see what you're doing. So let me get out of this view for 1 second. No, that's not what I want. And I want to say that again, where do you turn on track and trace? See here in your Microsoft Word under review. You want to show comments, to see all the comments that we've made. And then also, we want you to turn on track changes. And what that does is as you go into here, and change your formatting around a little bit. Excuse me. What you want to do is just turn on track changes so that when you finish saving and re-upload your document, we can see the different things that you have shifted, like this introduction. Sandra, does that make sense in general in terms of what we're asking you to do? Again, make sure you have the show comments feature selected so that you can see what Bastian and I have written, as well as the track changes on. Okay? All right, are there any other questions you have at this point that I can help you with? You're saying that the changes should highlight in red. Sorry, I closed that a little bit too quickly. The changes here, are you referring to where it says Charles Taze Russell as an example of what's in red? Excuse me, okay. Sorry, help me understand what you mean. Oh, I think I know what you mean. I'm just reading over what you said again. Yes, your changes, yes, it will. You're saying the changes that you make to your essay, won't they highlight it in red? I believe it is red. It may be a different color, but yes, it is sort of noted as you have made the changes, and typically they do highlight it in a color like red, so that when it comes back to me, when you re-upload it via Funda to us, with your finished revision, we can see, okay, you changed this and this and this. And again, all of this is really because we're trying to work with you not only on worldviews, but helping your critical writing skills in terms of, in particular, writing academic essays. And so we want it to sort of be this way. I know this sort of feels a little bit kind of grammar heavy or whatever, but we want to actually look at your changes so that you can do that. Now, if you're talking about like a spelling mistake or whatever, you may just want to fix that on your own. But if you're reformatting an entire paragraph or changing how you use a source or whatever, it's going to be important that you do so in a way that we can see. Does that make sense? Okay. Anything else that I can help you with? I believe there's one more slide that I didn't get to, and it's about resubmission. So let me just make sure I go back to that. Over here. All right, just one last thing on submission dates, and this is what I was mentioning earlier in regards to a note that Wayne Herman sent around to all the student body, and that is this, that if you haven't yet submitted any essays, or if you got a 0 for plagiarism, whether it was intentional or unintentional, or if you submitted simply too late and you wish to submit your essays, there is a once-off opportunity to do so until the 30th of May. The reason for that is because there has been such a varied experience in how the CLC online distance experience has been rolled out, and we want to sort of, as best as we can across the board throughout Cornerstone, make everyone have at least a first introductory experience to CLC that is as smooth as possible. And so this has been granted to you. This is not going to be a regular occurrence, but it will be something that you will do just this one time. So if you would like to do that, you have until the 30th of May to do so. Now, one last thing you said. Oh, appreciate that very much. You say you're in. Bastian's comments on the essays are very useful. Well, we really appreciate that. It takes some time, but we're really trying to help you here. So thank you so much for being open to that. I know that it's hard to get feedback that says that you need to improve, but we're on your side and we want you to write well. And so that's why we're here. Anything else I can help you with, Sandra? Okay. Then for my side, I want to say that it's been a pleasure to try to help you guys this semester as your tutor. It's been a good learning experience for myself. Please feel free to get a hold of us over these last few weeks of the term, of the semester and the term, if there is anything we can be of service with. Have a great day, everyone, and congratulations on almost finishing another semester of school here at Cornerstone. Take care.